Roxo Media House.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, you're fresh off a 45-0 victory over Long Island University. Congrats. It was a dominating performance from the outset. Everybody, a lot of positives in this. Comments, thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good game for us. Thought we played well. I thought the whole thing really was keyed by how well we played defensively. They had 12 drives in the game, punted 10 times, and then we had a turnover. They got us on our heel the one time, or they got us on our heels a little bit defensively one time. They strung together a drive, but then we did a tremendous job. Jamel broke on a ball, and Nnamdi got an interception and got off the field. And so it was a great way for us to start our home opening part of our schedule. And I think, our defensive performance keyed us offensively. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but Josh kind of settled in. I know he completed, 14 balls in a row at one point, and I thought he really played well. And, we protected well. We caught the ball pretty well. I wish we would have run the ball a little bit better than we did, but there's some things that we can get cleaned up and get fixed. But thought we played well on special teams as well. Missed a field goal that we got to get cleaned up. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good performance.
Great. And you mentioned the defense. First shutout since 2017. Coach Avalos, talk real quick with him. Do you have comments to a coach? Does he say anything to you when you have a shutout? I mean, obviously that's a big deal, no matter who you're playing. But do you say stuff to coach about that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you don't see many shutouts in college football. I mean, it's just the nature of the game is such now that they're hard to come by. And I didn't realize it'd been since 2017, but I knew it'd been a while. Hard to do. It's hard to do. It was, like I said, a dominating performance, and really didn't cross midfield a whole lot of times. And so it was good to see us, play defense like that. And when we put some of our young players in, it was good to see those guys go in and execute the calls and know what to do and do it the right way. So, a lot of growth with us defensively, and I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far. And again, you got to give Andy and their staff a lot of credit, and our players a lot of credit.
Very good. The O-line seemed to be gelling quite nicely. The protection that I noticed was substantial. Any thoughts on the O-line?
Yeah. I thought we played well up front, particularly in the passing game. We saw a little bit different look. It's 2 weeks in a row that people have kind of chopped the front up on us a little bit and run through linebackers a lot to try to slow the run game down. And and probably created a little bit of confusion up front for us at times. And we got to do a better job of getting that stuff figured out and getting it fixed. But overall, I thought we played well, and as I said, particularly with our pass protection.
Indeed. When you play a game like this where it's clearly in your favor, in your control, do you have an opportunity during stuff like this to play new players, try new plays out just to see what they might do?
Yeah. We played 72 different players, which was good. I mean, we got some young guys on the field and got them some experience. That's really, really important to be able to do that because, as the season goes along, you're going to have injuries and you're going to have, some of these young guys are going to have to get in games. And it's always good when you can play them in these type of situations. They can gain some experience. They can make some mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So overall, I thought it was a good performance.
Did anything come from head coach Ron Cooper after the game? Did he have anything nice?
Yeah, not really. No. I've known Ron for a long time. We actually coached together back in the late 90s. He was the head coach at Louisville when I was at Kentucky. And so known him for a long time. He's a really, really good football coach. I thought they had a good game plan. I really thought they did a good job of putting their players in positions to be successful. They got a good quarterback. I thought the quarterback, really did some good things. And defensively, I thought they had a really good game plan. As I said, they chopped up the front, made it uncomfortable for us to know where they were going to align and where they were going to move to, and they were real active, and they did a nice job.
The great student presence of the game was noticed by a lot of people. You made a comment in the presser, but the students seemed to be on board with what's going on.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think we had almost 6,200 students at the game, which is about half of our student body population, and it says a lot about TCU. I mean, there's not many places where half the students attend the football games, and it's awesome. It says a lot about the school spirit and the student body, and I think we'll even have more this week.
Any injuries you can discuss?
Nothing really. We got a little bit banged up. Jordan Bailey fell on his shoulder, and I think he'll be fine. He practiced today, so nothing substantial.
Savion had his first touchdown pass. Yes, that's kind of a neat little tribute to that.
Yeah. It was fun to see him throw that. He played some quarterback in high school, and so he actually throws the ball pretty well.
Any comments on the first couple weeks of college football in general? There's been a lot of things happening. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of parity. I mean, there's a ton of parity in college football. There's probably 3 or 4 teams right now that have kind of distance themselves from everybody else, but it's early, and no one's had any injuries, significant injuries to deal with. It's always fun when you see a big upset like Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame. I think it just shows you how important it is to be the most excited team to play. It's something we talk to our players about all the time is, the team that plays the hardest on Saturday is usually going to find a way to win. And so you got to be excited to play. You can't overlook anybody, and you can't make mistakes, and that's the big thing about it.
Well, thank you, Coach. All right, we'll right back with the student question of the week with your Mallory James Mahoney on State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
We're lucky to have a collective that's as strong and as powerful as the Flying T Club. It's a big deal for us. It is a game changer. I would just encourage any fans out there to support it. Everyone asks me, what's the biggest priority? And I say, NIL is big. Please jump on board, show these student athletes how much they mean to you. The thing about NIL is I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, and the Flying T Clubs do it the right way. Let's keep winning. Join the Flying T Club today.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Our student question with Mallory James Mahoney comes from Kendall this week.
Thanks, JW. Hey there, Sonny. Congrats on the 2-0 start of the season, and good luck with the Big 12 Conference starting this weekend against UCF. I am here with Kendall. She is a freshman business major from Connecticut.
Hey, Coach Dykes. So I saw on social media last week that you've been doing recruiting on a helicopter. Is that normal?
Yeah, we took a helicopter Friday night to go recruiting to a couple of local high schools. It's a good way for us to make a little bit of a splash from a recruiting standpoint. It seems to make an impression on student athletes and their parents. Also enables us to not have to deal with some of the DFW traffic, and so we can work here Friday, go to a game, watch the first half of a game, jump in a helicopter, and see the second half of a game. So we were able to make 2 games Friday night. Saw 4 really good football teams play, saw a bunch of prospects play, and it's a good way to get around. Like I said, I don't really particularly like it myself. Being in a helicopter is a little dicey for me, but it makes an impression on the players and the parents and the programs.
Can you swing by and grab dinner on the way home or anything?
No. Usually I end up catching a ride from the last stop. That way I don't have to ride back in the helicopter. Those things scare me a little bit, but it went pretty smooth this week. So
Great.
I was glad that we let the storms pass before we got up in the air.
Indeed. Thank you, Kendall, for the question, and thank you, Mallory James Mahoney, for setting that up. We're right back with State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters. Our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, it's conference week. Finally, it's here. A team you probably know pretty well and a coach you probably know pretty well. Before we get into that, UCF's 2-0. They're coming to town, 6:30 on Fox. We got a lively crowd, a sellout, as we've been told.
Yep.
UCF, largest undergrad college in the United States. Lots of people there. One of their famous alumnus, a guy named Terrence Trent D'Arby. You remember that name?
Oh, sure I do.
Can you name the song that made him famous? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I can't, but I know I can think of it, but I don't know what it's
Little
called.
song called "Wishing Well."
Yeah, Wishing Well.
Yes.
There we go.
Anyway, back to
Terrence
business.
Trent D'Arby.
Back to business now, Coach. UCF's coming out also as a 2-0 team. Coming in here looking for some conference victories. So, what do you have thoughts about those guys?
Yeah, good football team. I mean, you look at UCF and kind of historical team. In other words, that they're always fast. They've got a lot of really, really good skill position players. Got a quarterback that has 40-plus starts. KJ Jefferson transferred there from Arkansas. And KJ's different. I mean, he's a 240-pound quarterback. He's a great runner, throws the ball well, especially throws deep balls well. But you really got to stop the run game when you play these guys. I mean, I think right now they're the number 1 rushing team in college football. Real diverse scheme. They do a great job getting the ball on the perimeter to their fast guys. Also do a good job of being physical up front. So tons of speed. Got two really good receivers that can run and make plays. So very, very diverse offense. A lot of big play capability. We got to do a really good job at tackling in open space. They're gonna put you in some positions where they got a skilled guy with the ball, and you're gonna have to go tackle them. And their guys are really fast and do a good job making people miss. So that's gonna be a big challenge for us. And then, defensively, they're really strong up front. They got four really, really big, strong, powerful defensive linemen. Two ends can really rush the passer. The two tackles are big, athletic guys. They got a nickel that makes a lot of plays. One really, really tall, athletic corner. So good football team. Got a really good returner that's one of their receivers. That's kind of an elite level punt and kick returner. So we're going to have to be really good on special teams. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. I mean, a very explosive football team, and should be a heck of a ball game.
Great insight. A couple of interesting threads in this game. Our offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles, spent a little time with KJ at Arkansas, so he obviously knows the gentleman, how he plays.
Yeah.
That's got to be an interesting little tie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's going to know KJ well, and then KJ's going to know our offense well. He's going to know our signals. He's going to know the checks. He's going to know all the stuff. So I'm sure that KJ will spend some time with Central Florida's defensive coaches this week and talk to them a little bit about about what we do and how we do it. But there's always going to be some crossover familiarity when you play somebody. Gus and I played against each other when I was across town. He was, they were in our league, and we had some really good football games through the years. And his teams were always well coached. And the thing that makes Gus so good is, they were a throwing team last year. They had an older quarterback that really threw the football well, and they were one of the top teams in the country throwing. Now they've got a different quarterback, and they've turned into one of the top teams in the country running the ball. And so he does a tremendous job of utilizing his talent every year and figuring out how to make it work.
Irving, Texas' own Gus Malzahn. We'll get to him in a second, but the other interesting thread is that Coach Avalos comes from Boise State, obviously. He played against Gus a few times, so he obviously knows a little bit as well. How does that add to the mix?
Well, again, just kind of familiarity. There is a lot of familiarity between these two programs. Even though we haven't played them, TCU's never played UCF before. There is a lot of crossover, and which always makes for an interesting ball game and a lot of different stories.
And back to Coach Malzahn, his third season at his program, UCF. He's been around the college landscape for a long time. He also, he was very complimentary of you and your team, which I thought was really impressive in his press conference. You mentioned you have some familiarity with him and played against him. Yeah, Gus is a really good coach. That's, his teams are always well prepared. He's a really good offensive mind. He knows how to put players in conflict, and as I said, the thing that I like that he does better, or as well, probably better than anybody, is he figures out, okay, this is what these guys can do, and then he allows them to go do it and builds his team around the talent and his scheme around the talent. So, to me, that's kind of coaching 101, and not everybody does that. And he's a really, really good football coach and has been successful everywhere he's been because of that. Very good. If we're talking a little bit about some assistant coaches, Dana and Todd Graham and Dana Holgerson, how has that experience been thus far, if you can speak to that for a second? Yeah, it's been great. Both of them provide a unique perspective. What I like that we did with those guys is Dana's been an offensive guy, but we've got him working with the defense. And so what he can do is talk to Andy about the way he would attack the defense and what he sees, and Todd's a defensive guy, and we've got him working with the offense, and kind of the same thing. And so it's been good to have both of their perspectives, and for them to be able to share that with the coordinators and get some pretty vital information and just a different point of view. Because what happens to you if you're a defensive guy, you're sitting in a room with defensive coaches all the time, and you're kind of worried about your scheme, and sometimes it's hard to see the weaknesses. And when you have a guy like Dana or a guy like Todd that can come in and say, well, look, this is how I would attack you. You might think about doing this. That kind of experience is very valuable. Very impressive. All right, Coach, that's all I got for you. We're going to be blacked out in the stadium. It's going to be packed to the gills. It's going to be a fun Saturday night. We're looking forward to it. So thank you for your time. Yeah, we are too. I think our players will be excited to play, and it should be a heck of a ball game. That's State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Till next time.
Roxo Media House.